She entered without knocking, slipped out of her dress and winked at me. The station, long abandoned, hung in space like a giant skeleton. Its metal surface was scarred, dented, and covered in strange, glowing patterns that seemed almost alive. Despite its age, the station still pulsed with faint energy readings that had caught the attention of the Galactic Exploration Authority. Elias had seen abandoned stations before. He had repaired engines, fixed broken systems, and navigated dangerous corridors. But this one felt different. There was a hum in the air, a vibration beneath his feet even in the safety of the shuttle. It was not dangerous, not exactly, but it was alive in a way he could not explain. Stepping into the airlock, Elias sealed himself in and watched the countdown. He could feel his heartbeat quicken, not from fear, but from the familiar thrill of discovery. Humans, he knew, had always thrived on curiosity. There was something about stepping into the unknown that made his mind sharp, his senses alert. The airlock opened with a hiss, and Elias floated into the station. The corridors were wide, lined with panels of unknown metal and glowing symbols that seemed to pulse like veins. The lights flickered as if the station were breathing. Dust particles danced in the beams of his flashlight. It smelled faintly metallic and sweet, like a storm before rain. He began his exploration slowly, moving from room to room. Some areas were empty, others contained strange machinery that hummed softly. He touched a console and the lights on the panel flared, responding to his presence. He smiled. "Not bad for a 1,000-year-old station," he muttered. His hands moved confidently over buttons and switches, rewiring systems, bringing life back to dormant machines. Hours passed. Elias found chambers filled with objects that seemed like alien furniture, alien art, and alien devices he could not identify. Some emitted low hums. Others projected holographic maps of star systems that didn't match any charts in human databases. Yet in each case, Elias' human intuition allowed him to make sense of the impossible. He paused in one chamber, examining a circular device in the center of the room. It had no markings, no recognizable controls, just a sphere that pulsed with soft, blue light. He reached out with a gloved hand. The moment he touched it, the sphere reacted, sending a wave of energy that projected images into the air. Stars, planets, and spacecraft spun in a silent dance. Elias' eyes widened. "So this is why the readings were off the charts," he whispered. Humans had always been explorers, but sometimes even he was surprised by what he could understand. The sphere seemed to respond to his thoughts, moving as he focused on certain stars. Suddenly, a noise echoed in the hall behind him, a soft, deliberate step that didn't belong to the station. Elias froze. He spun slowly, flashlight sweeping the corridor. The beam landed on a figure. She was human in appearance, but her presence was strange. She moved with a calm confidence, her eyes scanning the room as if she had been there 1,000 times. She just entered, Elias thought, heart beating faster. She didn't knock, didn't announce herself. And yet she smiled, a small, knowing smile that seemed almost playful. "Hello," she said softly, her voice carrying in the empty chamber. "I see you found the old station's heart." Elias' mind raced. Who are you?" he asked. The woman made no move to answer directly. Instead, she stepped closer to the pulsing sphere. "You have talent," she said. "Not just skill, but understanding. That is rare even for humans." Elias frowned, confused. How do you know I'm human?" She laughed lightly, the sound like a small melody. "Because no alien could approach these systems without destroying them. Humans think differently. You adapt, you improvise. You understand patterns that machines and aliens cannot." He blinked. "Patterns?" "Yes," she said, turning her gaze to him. "The station reacts to life. Not all life, but to ingenuity, curiosity, and courage. The kind humans have in abundance." Elias felt a rush of pride mixed with awe. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy, seen as fragile or reckless, but here, Alone on this ancient station, he understood what she meant. The moment he had touched the sphere, he had activated it not by force but by understanding, a human trait no machine could mimic. "What is this place?" he asked, his voice steadier now. "And why are you here?" She didn't answer directly. Instead, she waved her hand, and a holographic map appeared between them. Stars and planets shimmered in bright colors. Lines connected distant worlds, forming a network of points that pulsed like a heartbeat. "This station is a library," she explained. "Not just for humans, for the galaxy. Every civilization leaves something behind. Their knowledge, their stories, their hopes. Most are lost in time. This one survived." Elia stared, absorbing the enormity of it. "A library in space." "Yes," she said. Her smile returned, warmer now. "And you, Elias Harper, have been chosen to explore it, to learn, to understand, and perhaps to guide what comes next." He frowned, unsure. "Chosen? By who?" She laughed softly. "By time, by curiosity, by humans themselves. Sometimes the right person arrives at the right moment. That is all you need to know for now." Elias shook his head, trying to process it all. A library of lost civilizations, a mysterious human stranger, and a station that seemed alive. It was more than he had expected from a simple mission, yet he felt an odd comfort. Humans thrived in the unknown. He had spent his life proving it. "Then, where do we start?" he asked finally. She smiled again, her eyes glinting with a secret understanding. "Follow me. But know this, nothing here will behave as you expect. You must think like a human, act like a human, and trust what you feel. Only then will the station reveal its secrets." Elias took a deep breath and followed her down a narrow corridor. The walls glimmered faintly as they moved past. The hum of the station grew louder, almost as if it were aware of their presence. As they entered the next chamber, Elias realized the true scale of the station. Towers of glowing devices stretched upward, projecting light into the dome above. Strange symbols floated in the air, moving and reshaping themselves as if alive. The woman gestured toward a console. "This is where we begin," she said. "Touch it and let your mind guide you." Elias approached carefully. He extended his hand, feeling the energy hum beneath his fingers. A thrill of anticipation ran through him. Humans had always reached for the stars, but rarely did the stars reach back. Here they were. The console responded instantly. Lights flashed in patterns that made no sense at first, then slowly aligned with his thoughts. He realized the station was testing him, not with danger but with curiosity. And in that moment, he understood something vital. Humans were not just survivors. They were explorers, dreamers, adapters. This station, abandoned and ancient, would bow to human ingenuity. The woman watched silently, her smile never fading. "Good," she said. "You are ready. But remember, the station holds more than knowledge. It holds responsibility. And soon, you will understand why humans are the only ones capable of handling it." Elias nodded, determination filling him. He did not yet know what awaited him deeper in the station, but one thing was clear. Humans had come far, and their journey was just beginning. Above them, the station pulsed with quiet life, almost approving of the human who had entered without warning, touched its heart and understood. And for the first time, Elias felt a connection, not just to the station, but to something larger, something eternal. Somewhere in the vast galaxy, humanity's next great adventure was beginning, and Elias Harper was ready to lead the way. Elias followed the woman deeper into the station, his boots making soft thuds against the metallic floor. The hum of the station grew louder, resonating through the corridors as if the structure itself were alive, aware of their presence. The glow of alien symbols danced along the walls, casting soft light that flickered and shifted with every step. It was mesmerizing, almost hypnotic, but Elias' mind stayed sharp. Humans had a way of seeing patterns others missed, and he could feel them beginning to emerge here. "This way," the woman said, her voice calm but commanding. "The heart of the station is close." But beware, it will test more than your knowledge. It will test your patience, your creativity, and your willingness to see the world differently. Elias nodded, though he wasn't entirely sure what she meant. "I'm ready," he said. Curiosity always made him ready for anything. It was one of the things that had kept humans alive, expanding across planets and stars. They entered a large chamber, unlike anything Elias had ever seen. The walls were curved, made of smooth metal that seemed to flow like liquid. Panels of alien script blinked along the surface, shifting constantly, changing their shapes as though alive. In the center of the room floated a large, crystalline orb, spinning slowly. It emitted a soft blue light, and the air around it shimmered as if charged with energy. "Is that another control system?" Elias asked, stepping closer. The woman shook her head. "It is more than a control system. This is a memory core. It contains the knowledge of countless civilizations that came before. Some succeeded, some failed, but all left a trace here." Elias' eyes widened. "All of them? How is that even possible?" "That is the station's purpose," she explained. "To preserve, to connect. And now humans, especially you, can interact with it in ways no one else can." Elias extended a hand toward the orb. As soon as his fingers brushed its smooth surface, the air around him pulsed with energy. The orb responded instantly, projecting streams of holographic images into the room. He saw planets he didn't recognize, alien cities, and beings of strange shapes. Entire histories unfolded in seconds, moments of triumph, moments of failure, civilizations rising and falling. "It's amazing," Elias whispered. His mind raced to understand the patterns, the connections between them. He realized that the orb wasn't just showing images, it was testing him, challenging him to make sense of chaos. The woman stepped closer. "It will show you everything, but only those who understand patterns can unlock its true knowledge. Humans excel at patterns. Your curiosity, intuition, and creativity are the keys." Elias focused. He let his mind drift along the streams of light, noticing connections others might overlook. He saw how one civilization's technology influenced another, how cultures evolved in response to challenges. Slowly, the images began to form sequences he could predict, patterns he could anticipate. The woman watched silently, her eyes filled with quiet approval. "Yes, you see it. Most would only be overwhelmed. But humans, you understand not by force but by exploration, by asking questions and seeking answers." Hours passed as Elias worked with the memory core. He discovered ways to interact with it that felt natural, almost intuitive. Touching the orb in specific ways caused historical events to play out in slow motion, allowing him to study them carefully. Adjusting the light patterns brought new civilizations into focus. Every action he took was guided by his own reasoning, his human instinct for exploration. "This is incredible," he said finally, stepping back. "It's like the knowledge of the galaxy itself is alive." "In a way, it is," the woman replied. "It waits for beings capable of understanding it. Most fail. Humans, you adapt, you think differently, you see possibilities others cannot." Elias smiled. Humans had always done that, turning disadvantages into strengths, using imagination to solve problems, learning from mistakes and thinking creatively. It was why humans had survived, even thrived, where others had not. "Why me?" he asked suddenly. "Why am I the one chosen?" The woman's smile deepened. "Because curiosity alone is not enough. You have courage, insight, and persistence. That combination is rare. You are the kind of human who can guide what comes next, not just for humans, but for the knowledge of the galaxy." Elias felt a strange mixture of pride and responsibility. He had always believed humans were capable of amazing things, but to be recognized by someone, or something, so ancient was overwhelming. She guided him to another section of the chamber. Here, the floor was covered in strange tiles that glowed when stepped on. Each tile projected a tiny holographic scene, alien architecture, plants, and cities. Some showed peaceful civilizations, others showed societies struggling with disasters. These are simulations, she explained. The station uses them to preserve knowledge. Every choice, every action, every success and failure recorded. You can study them, learn from them, and even influence the simulations. Elias knelt down to examine a small scene of a planet under two suns. Tiny beings were building structures, learning to survive in harsh conditions. By adjusting his focus and touching the tiles, he could see alternate outcomes unfold, different paths civilizations might take based on their choices. "This is incredible," he said. "I've never seen technology like this. It's more than machines, it's alive in a way." "Alive?" the woman asked softly. "Yes, but only those capable of understanding life in all its forms can interact fully. That is why humans are special. You do not just follow rules, you adapt. You think, explore, and create. You are the galaxy's natural problem solvers." Elias looked around, absorbing the scale of the station. He realized it wasn't just a library, it was a school, a test, a guide for any species capable of learning. And right now, it had chosen humans to take the lead. The woman gestured toward a corridor that led deeper into the station. "There is more to see, but it will not be easy. The deeper we go, the more complex the systems become. Some are puzzles, some are lessons. And some will challenge everything you think you know about life, the galaxy, and humanity itself." Elias took a deep breath. Challenges were nothing new for humans. They thrived on solving problems, on facing the unknown. And this station, with its alien technology and living memory, was the ultimate puzzle. He followed the woman, stepping carefully through corridors that shifted subtly under his gaze. Panels reconfigured themselves, lights rearranged, and the walls seemed to guide him, responding to his curiosity and focus. Every instinct told him that the station recognized his understanding, rewarding him with new discoveries. At the end of the corridor, they entered a circular chamber. The walls were covered in symbols that glowed softly, forming patterns that moved and changed like living scripts. In the center floated a small device, shaped like a cube, emitting a gentle green light. "This," the woman said, "is the key to the station's knowledge. It contains instructions, philosophies, and strategies used by civilizations long gone, but it will only reveal its secrets to those who approach it with an open mind, patience, and creativity." Elias stepped forward, feeling a thrill of excitement. Humans had always approached the unknown with these qualities: curiosity first, fear second. And in this moment, alone with a mysterious guide and the galaxy's knowledge before him, he felt truly alive. He touched the cube. Energy flowed through him, not painful but awakening. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing civilizations struggling with impossible challenges. But the cube did more than display history, it asked questions. It posed problems, ethical dilemmas, and puzzles that required insight to solve. Hours passed as Elias worked with the cube, exploring each scenario, testing different solutions, and watching the outcomes unfold. Some civilizations survived, some failed. Each lesson was a test of human ingenuity, patience, and creativity. The woman watched silently, her smile serene. "See, humans are not just explorers. You are thinkers, problem solvers, adapters. You learn, you grow, you survive where others fail. This is why the station recognizes you. This is why the galaxy needs you." Elias paused, feeling a sense of purpose unlike anything he had ever known. He realized that humans were more than just another species. They were unique in their ability to explore, adapt, and understand life itself. The station had chosen him, not because of power or strength, but because of the qualities that made humans remarkable. And in that moment, surrounded by glowing symbols, living memories, and the pulse of alien technology, Elias understood the true scale of humanity's potential. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and challenges, but humans were capable. They could learn, they could guide, and they could inspire. The woman stepped closer. You are ready for the next stage, but remember, Elias Harper, this is just the beginning. The station holds more secrets than even I can reveal. And as you learn, you will discover that humans are more important than you ever imagined. Elias nodded, determination shining in his eyes. Then let's continue, he said. Let's see what this station has to teach us. The station pulsed in response, almost as if approving. Lights danced across the walls, corridors shifted subtly, and a new path opened before them. And Elias Harper, a human in a galaxy of endless possibilities, stepped forward with curiosity, courage, and the unmistakable ingenuity of humanity. Elias stepped carefully into the next chamber, feeling a subtle shift in the station's energy. The walls pulsed with soft lights, forming patterns that moved like living currents. The woman walked beside him silently, her calm presence steadying him even as the environment around them seemed almost alive. This part of the station is different, she said. It doesn't simply show knowledge, it challenges understanding, it questions your perspective. Only humans with their unique combination of creativity and reasoning can navigate it. Elias nodded, though his curiosity burned with excitement. Humans had always thrived on challenges. They learned through trial, innovation, and persistence, finding solutions others could not imagine. He had survived countless missions, repaired ships in impossible conditions, and now he faced the ultimate test, unlocking the station's deepest secrets. The chamber opened into a vast hall that stretched farther than Elias could see. In the center floated a massive holographic globe, projecting countless stars and planets in a soft, ethereal light. Streams of energy connected them like neural pathways, forming a network that pulsed with intelligence. Elias felt a strange thrill. It was as if the station were alive, communicating not in words but in patterns and possibilities. "What is this?" Elias whispered, awe in his voice. "This," the woman said, "is the galactic memory. It contains the essence of civilizations past and present. Knowledge, philosophy, art, technology, all stored here, but it is not passive. It waits for beings who can understand it, for those capable of interpreting its meaning. And humans, you are uniquely qualified." Elias took a deep breath. He stepped closer to the globe, feeling the energy brush against his senses. Lights shifted and pulsed as he approached, reacting to his focus. He realized that the globe responded to thought, not touch. A civilization struggling with environmental collapse appeared. Elias studied it carefully, considering the solutions the inhabitants had tried. Slowly, he traced a pattern of innovation, adaptation, and eventual success. The globe responded, highlighting pathways he had not yet seen. The woman's voice broke the silence. "Do you see, Elias? You are not merely observing. You are interacting, shaping understanding. Humans think in ways machines cannot. Humans explore possibilities where others see limits. That is why the station recognizes you." Elias' mind raced. Every civilization displayed challenges, but the solutions were always hidden, requiring insight, empathy, and reasoning. He realized the station was testing him, not for strength, but for intelligence, creativity, and foresight. These were the traits humans had developed over millennia, and they were shining here, stronger than ever. Hours passed as Elias navigated the holographic globe. He traced the rise and fall of planets, predicted outcomes, and adjusted strategies to preserve civilizations. Some experiments failed, but he learned from each mistake, refining his approach. He realized that humans excelled because they embraced failure as a step toward success. Other species might avoid risk, but humans saw opportunity in it. The woman observed quietly, occasionally offering guidance. "Notice how they respond to challenges," she said. "Notice the ones who innovate versus those who repeat old mistakes. Humans learn, adapt, and create. That is why you are capable of more than you imagine." Elia's heart swelled with pride. Humans had often been underestimated, dismissed as weak or unpredictable. Yet here, in the heart of an alien station, his abilities, human abilities, were proving invaluable. The station did not react to raw power or technology alone. It reacted to understanding, creativity, and ingenuity, the qualities that defined humanity. Then the globe shifted. A new layer appeared, showing something familiar: Earth. Images of humans, both past and present, appeared across the globe, connected by lines of light. Elias realized he was witnessing not only human achievement but human potential, the capacity to unite knowledge, explore space, and inspire life across the stars. The woman stepped closer, her gaze fixed on Elias. "You see it now. Humans are not just one species among many. You are capable of leadership, discovery, and guidance. This station exists to preserve the galaxy's knowledge, but it also chooses those worthy of shaping the future. And humans, you are ready." Elias stared, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. "But why me?" he asked. "Why not anyone else?" The woman smiled, a soft, knowing curve of her lips. "Because you represent what humans are at their best: curiosity, courage, adaptability, and creativity. You do not merely react, you think, plan, and imagine. That is why the station responds to you. That is why the galaxy will notice humans." Elias nodded slowly, understanding dawning. Humans were not the strongest, the fastest, or the most technologically advanced, but they could adapt, innovate, and overcome. They could see solutions others overlooked, make connections that others missed, and create opportunities where none existed. That was their power. Suddenly, the chamber shimmered, and a new projection appeared. It showed the woman herself, in a form Elias had not seen before. She was taller, with markings of light flowing along her skin, almost ethereal. Her voice resonated not just in words but in understanding. "I am more than a guide," she said. "I am a future human, a version of what your species can become. I came here to inspire, to awaken potential. You are part of that future, Elias. By understanding this station, you shape not only your path but the path of humanity across the stars." Elias stepped back, stunned. You're human, from the future?" "Yes," she said. "From a timeline where humans have learned to harness ingenuity, curiosity, and wisdom to preserve life, knowledge, and progress. You are on the path to becoming that version of humanity, but it begins with you understanding your potential." Elias felt a rush of determination. Humans had always faced challenges and turned them into opportunity. They had crossed oceans, reached the skies, and now reached the stars. If the future depended on people like him, he would not fail. The woman gestured toward the globe. "The next step is to connect humans to the knowledge here. Use what you've learned. Think creatively. Show the station what humans can do." Elias approached the globe again. He traced connections between civilizations, noticed patterns, and began devising strategies that combined innovation, ethics, and efficiency. The holographic lines pulsed, responding to his insight. He realized that humans were uniquely capable of making complex, adaptive decisions that even the station's algorithms could not anticipate. Hours blurred into moments. Time seemed irrelevant as Elias worked, guided by the woman's silent encouragement. He felt a growing sense of purpose. Humans had always explored, always created, always learned, and now they were poised to leave a mark on the galaxy far beyond anything they had imagined. Finally, the globe stabilized. The patterns aligned perfectly, forming a network of civilizations interconnected by knowledge, creativity, and cooperation. Elias stepped back, breathing heavily, amazed at what he had achieved. The woman's eyes gleamed. "You have done more than I expected. You have proven that humans are capable of understanding, shaping, and preserving knowledge in ways no one else could. This is why the station chose you. This is why the galaxy will rely on humans." Elias smiled, pride and wonder flooding him. "So, this is what humans can do." Not just survive, but lead, guide, and inspire. Yes, she said, and now you understand the responsibility, but also the opportunity. Humans can become the guardians of knowledge, explorers of the unknown, and builders of a future that no one else can imagine. That is your gift. That is your potential. Elias looked at the holographic globe one last time, seeing the interconnected web of life and knowledge. The station had shown him not just history, but possibility. And in that moment, he realized something profound. Humans were special not because of strength, technology, or numbers, but because of their ingenuity, creativity, and unyielding curiosity. The woman stepped back, her form shimmering. "The next stage awaits," she said. "There are more challenges, more mysteries, and more opportunities. But now, you understand why humans are different, and the galaxy will begin to notice." Elias took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of discovery. Humans had come far, and their journey was only beginning. With courage, curiosity, and creativity, they could face any challenge, unlock any mystery, and leave their mark on the universe. And as the station pulsed with quiet life, Elias Harper knew one thing for certain. Humans were ready for the stars. Elias Harper stood in the heart of the station, staring at the vast holographic globe that stretched above him. Streams of light connected stars and planets, forming a living network of civilizations, knowledge, and histories. The woman, his guide, watched silently, her form glowing softly in the pulsating light. "Are you ready?" she asked. Elias nodded. "I think I am." "But what happens now?" "Now," she said, "you help humans step into the galaxy in a way no one has before. You connect your species to the knowledge here. You show the universe what humans can do." Elias took a deep breath. Humans had always explored, always learned, always adapted. They had survived impossible conditions, crossed oceans, reached the skies, and now they faced the stars. And this station, the living archive of civilizations past, was a tool. A tool that could amplify humanity's creativity, ingenuity, and understanding to a scale no other species could reach. He approached the central console, feeling the pulse of energy beneath his hands. It was alive in a way that seemed aware of him, responding to his thoughts, movements, and intuition. He began interacting with it, linking patterns of civilizations, highlighting connections, and discovering hidden knowledge. Each action unlocked more data, more insight, and more understanding. The woman's voice guided him. "Think like a human, Elias. Humans are unique because you combine creativity with reasoning. You adapt, improvise, and innovate. That is why the station responds to you. That is why the galaxy will listen." Hours passed as Elias worked. The station expanded his perception, showing him civilizations that had thrived and those that had failed. He noticed patterns in how life evolved, how knowledge spread, and how cooperation led to success. Every insight he gained was a testament to human ingenuity, the very trait the station had been waiting for. Finally, the station responded fully to his understanding. The holographic globe pulsed brighter, projecting beams of light outward, reaching distant stars, systems, and planets. The knowledge of humanity and the lessons of every civilization in the station was now accessible to the galaxy. Elias stepped back, amazed. We've shared it," the woman nodded. "Yes, and humans are now visible not just as explorers but as stewards of knowledge. Your species can inspire, guide, and connect civilizations across the stars." Elias smiled. It was more than he had imagined. Humans were often underestimated, dismissed as fragile or reckless. Yet here, their creativity, curiosity, and adaptability had not only allowed them to survive but to lead, to inspire, and to shape the future. A new set of holographic projections appeared, showing the reactions of nearby civilizations. Some observed humans with curiosity, others with awe. Many had not expected that a species so young and seemingly fragile could navigate the complexities of the station, understand the knowledge, and broadcast it across the galaxy. The woman gestured toward the projections. You see, humans are different. You solve problems others cannot. You imagine possibilities that others never consider. That is your gift. That is why the galaxy will notice you. Elias felt a swell of pride. Humans had always faced challenges, but they never gave up. They learned from mistakes, adapted to the environment, and created solutions where none existed. That was their strength, their uniqueness, and their power. Will other species cooperate with humans? Elias asked. The woman's eyes sparkled. Some will learn. Some may even compete. But the important thing is this. Humans can now share, guide, and collaborate in ways that no other species has achieved. The station has recognized your ingenuity. The galaxy will follow your example. Elias looked around the chamber. The walls pulsed softly, the corridors shimmered, and the lights of the holographic projections danced across the floor. He realized that this station, abandoned for so long, had found purpose again, and humanity had become a part of that purpose. Is this what you wanted me to see? He asked. The woman smiled. Not exactly. I wanted you to understand. Humans are capable of more than they know. Your ingenuity, courage, curiosity, and creativity are your greatest assets. Use them wisely, teach others, inspire others. That is why you were brought here. Elias took a deep breath. He thought of Earth, of the countless humans exploring, building, learning. And now, through the station, humanity's influence could reach farther than ever before. He realized that this moment was not just about him. It was about every human who had ever dared to explore, create, or imagine. Then, this is just the beginning, he said. Yes, the woman replied. The station will always be here, guiding, testing, and inspiring. But humanity's journey is only starting. You are the spark, the first step, and one day others will follow, carrying knowledge, creativity, and understanding to the furthest reaches of the galaxy. Elias smiled, feeling a sense of purpose stronger than anything he had ever known. Humans were not just explorers, they were learners, innovators, and guides. They could face any challenge, solve any problem, and inspire civilizations across the stars. The woman's form began to shimmer, becoming translucent. It is time for me to leave, she said. But remember this, humans are special, not because of strength, speed, or technology, but because of ingenuity, curiosity, and courage. Protect that. Cultivate it. And the galaxy will remember you. Elias watched as she faded, leaving him alone in the glowing chamber. The station hummed gently, as if acknowledging his understanding. He reached out to the holographic globe once more, tracing the connections between civilizations, imagining the possibilities. Humans could not only survive, they could thrive, guide, and shape the future. He walked through the corridors of the station, each step echoing with promise. Every panel, every symbol, every device responded to him, recognizing him as a human capable of understanding, innovation, and leadership. He realized that this station, once abandoned and forgotten, was now a beacon, not just for knowledge but for humanity itself. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, shining with the potential of countless worlds. Elias stepped to the observation deck, looking at the galaxy with a renewed sense of wonder. The station had opened a door, not just to knowledge but to possibility, and humanity was ready to step through. He thought of Earth, of the humans exploring distant planets, building ships, learning and dreaming. And he knew that their journey was just beginning. The galaxy would see humans not as weak or fragile, but as explorers, innovators, and stewards of knowledge. Elias smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of discovery at once. Humans had come far, and their adventure was only beginning. They would face challenges, discover mysteries, and create solutions no one else could imagine. And through it all, they would remain curious, brave, and inventive, everything that made them truly human. The station pulsed softly, sending waves of light into the galaxy. The knowledge, wisdom, and history of countless civilizations now flowed outward, guided by human insight. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, other species began to notice. For the first time, humanity was not just part of the galaxy, they were shaping it. Elias Harper took one last look at the holographic globe, feeling a sense of accomplishment unlike anything he had ever known. Humans were capable of amazing things, and now the galaxy would see it. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, ready to lead humanity into a future filled with wonder, exploration, and infinite possibility. The stars were waiting, and so was humanity,